Escaping the Morlock tunnels and filling out our X-Force collection gap is the Marvel Legends Feral from the mini comic wave. Is she all collectors wanted and more? She looks beautiful on the card, but when we get her out, did Hasbro leave us high and dry by skipping the one detail that matters the most? We're gonna find out right now. But first, let's take a moment to admire the amazing work of Hasbro. I was worried that Feral wouldn't look like the Rob Liefeld art of the 90s X-Force. She is 100% comic book accurate inch per inch. According to the trading cards, Feral first appeared in New Mutants 100, but the correct first appearance of Feral is in New Mutants number 99 where she escaped the Morlock tunnels. It is only in issue number 100 where she interacted with the New Mutants and decided to join Cable's team so they could fight her battles with the Morlocks. This was the exact motivation for the new members of Cable's new X-Force team. The idea that the team would back up their members. Feral is basically the cat version of Wolfsbane, who was a former New Mutants at that time. Wolfsbane was in X-Factor when Feral joined the New Mutants / X-Force. It seems the New Mutants team always needs a furry member. She's got the right curves, just enough purple costume to keep her safe for ages 4 and up. Or is she not? Well, she is technically a cat and animals rarely wear clothes. She has a very feral looking head sculpt. Even if she only has one head, it perfectly matches how Cable describes her. A cat lady with a preference for violence. So there is no need for a stoic, calm or smiling face. Feral is always ready for battle. Although her head looks so lemon orange, there are subtle washes around the sculpted details. The eyes are all white with dark outline to make her stare look sharp, along with the sharp sculpted eyebrows. The mouth details are exceptional, the paint is clean, and even if the teeth sculpt is so small, there are no paint smudges. The large hair with those white parts is spot on for nostalgia, and the fur amount is just right for me. Or do you think Hasbro should have made it bigger, as large as how Rob Liefeld drew her in the New Mutants and X-Force comic books? Now that's gonna be hard to balance, that's a heavy head. Now, moving our eyes from the head towards that costume. The torso looks brand new with the purple costume taped on. I assume it was taped on. I think that's what she uses to hold her costume in place? I might be wrong. The purple costume is a separate plastic piece glued on, and there is no way it can be removed without permanently breaking the figure. Hasbro kept the wild and untamed character design of her 90s costume, and we are thankful for that. Enough with the front. Let's take a look at her back this time. Hasbro made a deep cut and gap between the upper and lower torso. It seems Hasbro learned from their mistake with X-Factor Wolfsbane, who barely crunches backward. This articulation is exactly what Feral needs so that crawling, cat-like silhouette can be executed. Although like Wolfsbane, she can't crunch forward much. Her belt with the loincloth is a separate piece, but it is tight on her waist. The great thing about the plastic they used is it's not that hard, so you can move it and help her sit down. At the back, there is a hole on the loincloth for her tail, and that tail kept on falling. I do wonder if you attach it directly to her backside, will it be firm enough? Firmly attached? If you look at the X-Force art of Rob Liefeld, there is no visible hole on her loincloth. The tail typically slips under the fabric. So the comic book costume design makes me wonder, and this is for comic book accuracy's sake and nothing else. Is Feral technically free down there, since her tail slips underneath the cloth in the comics? Or does the figure's reliance on the hole break the costume illusion? According to Hasbro, she is not free, because there is a painted purple section there, and then the paint breaks right before the hole. Interesting design for this Marvel Legends Feral figure. Maybe there is a tape holding it so it won't fall? I'm not sure. Initially, I was worried that Hasbro would reuse the arms and legs of Wolfsbane. Like what I said before, Wolfsbane looks very feral. The problem with the sculpted fur, when giving her a wolf stance, crawling on all fours the surface of the legs gets scratched when it hits her crotch. It left a permanent mark and a paint transfer of blue along the legs. Looking at Feral, with all smooth arms and leg sculpt, there should be no problem. Since this is a detailed review, not a fan reaction where I look at her on a vanilla standing pose. I will try out comic book poses. That is why the main theme of the channel is I might break figures. Sadly, this one was not spared. Long line dents were made on her legs while I was copying one of the Hasbro Pulse poses. It's achievable per website. I think Hasbro should have lessened the plastic part right here. So when you try the cat-like crawling poses, be careful not to overdo it like I did. Don't try to do a high kick pose as well. The reason for the smooth arms and legs of Feral is because it's a reuse of the Tigra body. Now, there is very little sculpted fur. It is simply not as feral looking as Rob Liefeld has drawn her. I do wonder if someone will make a custom, replacing her arms and legs with Wolfsbane's parts. Using the feral head on the X-Factor Wolfsbane body, the fur color is different, but it is not a bad looking match. Here is the reverse. Wolfsbane on the feral body. Now this time, the color difference makes her look really bad. Her darker color head stands out a lot. For accessories, she comes with two closed fist hands. The gloves of her wrist are removable pieces because they are just add-on to a Tigra repainted arms. For a grand total of 4, she comes with a pair of cat scratching hands. The scratching hands, just like the closed fist hands, can hinge forward and back. These are the hands to hold the mini comic book accessory. Not a tight hold, but it is good enough. Unique compared to the others in this way because this is a wrap-around cover of X-Force number 1, just like the actual comic book here. Although missing is the free trading card that was originally included in the real comic book, there were 5 different trading cards released, and I have the X-Force team trading card. It would have been awesome if Hasbro included somehow an actual trading card. This wave is not only good, but excellent because many collectors celebrated the mini comic book wave too because Excalibur and X-Force are now finally complete. In the comments below, let me know, is the lack of fur disappointing? Or are you just like me who's just happy that we finally completed the 90s X teams? If you found this review helpful, hope you give it a like, a hype, subscribe to my channel, and share this with your friends. For places where the figures in this review might still be available, I left some links in the description below.
I'm Tigra.
For packaging, Feral comes in the mini comic book wave retro packaging. On top, it says X-Force. The corner box is a digital render of the Feral figure, Marvel Legends 1991, number 1, referring to the 1991 X-Force art by Rob Liefeld. On the left side is interior art by Rob Liefeld of Feral leaping to battle wildside. Just like the comics, the panel is followed by another comic book art from X-Force number 1. Feral told Wildside to stop talking and just fight. At the back are figures included in this wave. I reviewed Astonishing X-Men Beast, Phoenix, Rachel Summers, and Black Widow. Here is a short read-up. Pause it right now if you want to have a read. Some trademarks, warning, and the barcode. The new Marvel Legends Feral stands 15.7 centimeters on the top of her tall hair, but she looks like to be 15 centimeters tall or 5.9 inches tall. According to the X-Men Jim Lee trading cards, Feral stands 5 feet 5 inches tall, making this figure taller than her comic book height. For 6-inch scale Marvel Legends cat size comparisons, Wolfsbane in her X-Factor uniform, and Tigra. Different shapes and sizes of Marvel Legends females, Teen X23, the best regular size female buck X-Factor Jean Grey, 85th Anniversary Warbird, and sure top 10 figure of 2025 Gamerverse Psylocke. Different shapes and sizes of Marvel Legends male, X-Men 97 brown costume Wolverine, Maximum Series Spider-Man, slightly shorter Secret Wars Spider-Man, Vulcan Body Mold X-Factor Cyclops. I assumed X-Force has the most number of members during the 90s. I counted 10. Did I miss anyone? Here are the New Mutants alumni: Cannonball, Sunspot, Boom Boom, and Victor. Rounding up the X-Force team are Siren, Domino, Shatterstar, Cable, and Warfat. I hope Hasbro will add more villains for the X-Force to battle. Now it's just 10 versus 2, Zero and Strife. I think Reaper would be an easy repaint, Wildside to battle Feral, but one thing I look forward is a large deluxe forearm. I had the Toy Biz version when I was a kid with the moving arms. Other figures from the mini comic book wave 2, Astonishing X-Men Beast, Daredevil, Phoenix, Rachel Summers, and Black Widow. Best regular size male buck, Cyclops, Medusa and Gorgon, which I reviewed recently, Gamerverse Venom. Some arcade nostalgia, Marvel vs. Capcom Cable, Wolverine, Cheetah Toys Chun-Li, and Ryu. 1/12 scale size comparison, Medicom Toy Mapex Daredevil, and recently reviewed Mapex Weapon X. Mesco 1/12 Collective Bishop, and Darna by Halimao Sculptures and Loose Collector. 6-inch scale versus 7-inch scale size comparison, Marvel Legends 80th Anniversary Hulk, and the Marvel Select Immortal Hulk or the Rampaging Hulk. For articulation, Feral can look from side to side easily. She has a ball peg neck peg with a hinge. She can look up really well, look down that much. Arms can extend that far. She doesn't have a butterfly joint. She can do a full 360 right here. She has bicep swivel, double jointed pinless elbows, wrist can swivel, hinge forward and back. She has an upper torso swivel, which is very loose, make sure to heat it up though. She doesn't have a waist swivel. She can crunch backward really well, but cannot crunch forward at all. She can do a split. She has an upper thigh swivel, double jointed pinless knees, can kick far back, kick forward, feet can hinge forward and back, and she has an ankle rocker. Is Feral furry enough for you? I feel that Hasbro certainly put some cost-cutting efforts into this Marvel Legends Feral action figure. They clearly focused the budget on giving Feral the absolute best head sculpt and torso, which perfectly captures her savage 90s X-Force look. But they save money by reusing older body parts. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the review, I ran into some frustrating resistance and surface abrasions when putting her into those dynamic comic book poses. This is a clear sign that I wish Hasbro would consider articulation based on character needs. They did it for the torso, but they failed to do it on the lower limbs. The full details of that damage and specific mold reuse are revealed earlier in this comprehensive Feral review. However, at the end of the day, I am incredibly glad that the 90s X teams are now complete. Feral is an essential piece of X-Force history, and I am happy to have her standing next to Cable and the rest of the X-Force team. Is she a must-buy? For X-Men collectors like me, definitely. Please definitely check out my other figure reviews of the mini comic book wave. Here is a playlist right up at the top right corner of your screen. Hope you check it out. Thank you for watching. Please hype, like, share, subscribe to my channel because I still have more reviews coming up soon. Hope to see you in the next one.